Chris Yandick, CYInterview covering Las Vegas and the world. Today we welcome professional basketball player Brent Wright from 1997 to 2001. He played his college ball at the University of Florida. And then for more than a decade, he played overseas for various professional teams in Israel and Belgium, among other countries. Today he has his own leadership academy in Miami and South Florida, the B. Wright Leadership Academy. Brent, thanks so much for joining us in CYInterview today. How are you, sir?
I'm great. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And also joining us today is CYInterview sponsor, the founder of Epic Financial Strategies, LLC, the author of the book Surviving Success, and visionary behind his own youth basketball league, Epic Elite AAU, Mr. Rob Gill. Rob, thanks for joining us again today on CYInterview. How are you, sir?
Hey, Chris, thank you for the introduction. I appreciate it, and looking forward to today's interview. Super excited.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rob, so much for being here. Brent, just to begin, tell us a little bit about where you are today with your Leadership Academy and talk a little bit about your impressive basketball journey.
So right now, we in our 11th year at B. Wright Leadership Academy. It's a nonprofit private school here in Miami. We have over about 180 kids that we service. We started out K through 12, but after the pandemic, we went to K through 8. So right now, we have a K through 8 program. Looking back to get back to the high school and maybe do some post-grad, some I-20s with the international kids. So that's my main focus right now. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Right now,
the school systems, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, right now it's a K through 12 with regular school, but I definitely would like to transform it into a basketball just academy. So that's my goal and my dream to want to do that. Started back, went to the University of Florida, graduated, played for Coach Billy Donovan. Went overseas, was successful in basketball overseas, was a 9-time European champion, came back home and decided to start an academy, which is called the B. Wright Leadership Academy. And here we are today.
Love it.
Well, Brent, Rob has his own youth basketball league. So, Rob, why don't you go ahead? I mean, you guys have some commonalities here, obviously.
Yes, thanks, Chris. So, Brent, I grew up in Bayonne, New Jersey, bordering Jersey City. My sister married Bob Hurley's brother, Timmy Hurley. So, Coach Bob from St. Anthony's, has been in my life since I was about 10 years old. Bobby Jr. is my age, and Danny's 2 years younger. I grew up blue collar, schoolyard, really hard knocks in Bayonne, and played all my basketball in Jersey City. I played Division III, but I was lucky enough to be around all the St. Anthony's kids on the team that won the national championship in 1989. I was the worst player in the gym out of 40 people, but it was the best 40 in the state. You know what I mean? So that was always a good thing for me. So as a result of it, I started a career on Wall Street, built up multiple businesses, made multiple financial mistakes along the way. Have a wife with 3 children, and I realized 2 years ago, if I was going to help my sons in their high school journey, that not daddy ball, but I had to create my own AAU program to put them with the right players and the right coaches, which is what I did. My one guy, he did it for I think he did it for 2 years, but didn't want to play anymore. And my younger guy, who's now a senior, we just were on the Under Armour circuit, and we just played out the spring, summer season. He did really well. And along the way, Epic Elite became an AAU program, unbeknownst to me. I didn't think it was it wasn't even part of my, thought process. It was really just something I created for kids locally. But I was no longer, so my kids have privilege, right? They don't have the pains that I grew up with. They have different pains. But as I built the program, I started getting kids from North Jersey, think of Bayonne, Jersey City, that area. And I identified more with them. So I created my own financial literacy course. And in my book, I talk about that as well. And for me, I had no idea about, sneaker deals, Under Armour. We're in talks with Nike as we speak right now. Didn't know any of that stuff. And IMG Academy, one of my players is going to IMG Academy next year. So I'm thinking what you're talking about, that sounds like something that you're trying to build. And with that, I'm hearing the post-grad, and I'm hearing NIL Collective. And I think that's a brilliant idea from a business model, especially with the overseas people. And I'm hearing you loud and clear on what I think you're doing next.
Yeah.
Brent, thoughts?
What you said, Chris?
Thoughts? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, for me being able to, have that relationship with overseas, and so you're a St. Anthony's guy. So I played against Bruno, what's the other big fella? So it's been a while. We actually played them in a Creole, not I think it was a Creole Classic or the City of Palms down here. I was a sophomore, and we played them guys. We ended up beating them that
Wow.
year. Yeah, we beat them. Cause I went to Miami Senior High School.
So was that like a 94, 95, 93-ish, or was it after
No, it
that?
was like maybe 96.
Rashad Bruno, that team?
Yeah, Rashard
Okay.
Bruno, the
Yep.
other kid that went to Georgetown,
Yep. Yep.
um,
Anthony Perry. Yeah.
Anthony Perry, and the big fella. So I knew those guys pretty well because I also went to ABDC. I played in
Wow.
I played ABDC camp. Also played in what was that back then in Jersey? I think it was
5-star.
no, not Foster Eastern Invitational with Pat
Yep.
Kennedy.
I
Yeah,
can remember.
so I was around the New Yorker guys, and I also played with one of the Gachos, LeVar Postel,
Okay.
with the Gachos. So I kind of had that New York connection for a little bit with those guys, but yes, that's
And during your high school years is really when I remember 1989. That was when AAU, like Bobby Jr., Bobby Hurley, he was on an AAU team that was like one of the best ones. But I think that was the birth of AAU in the early 90s to where it
right.
is now. It's there's a money machine, obviously, but back then it was just getting started. So I think you were probably on one of those earlier teams as well, I would assume.
So I played not in the '90s. I'm not that old. I played with Florida Flash with Tracy McGrady, Udonis Haslam, Teddy
Okay,
DuPage,
I got it. All right,
Keon Dooley, and those guys. We played on that team.
gotcha. Okay.
With Alvin Smith was Adidas guy with Sonny Vaccaro.
Yeah. All right, I got it.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this: in your travels, just hearing about what you're building right now, and a lot of athletes, they go play pro here and there, and they make a lot of money. What made you really want to kind of start serving back and helping the kids the way you are right now? I think it's incredible, 180 kids. What made that happen? What was in your DNA for that to happen?
When I came back during the summer months, I saw a kid that was in McDonald's and he couldn't read the menu. So for me, I was just like, wow, how, he was like 12 or 13 years old. He just kept pointing at the menu and he didn't know what it was that he wanted. And so it just, to me, it was like, how is he able to function, what I'm saying, depending on someone else? So, it was an idea with my uncle and I, to start the academy. And it was just like a conversation, like really, it was like a conversation. And we just like, he was actually my high school coach. So, as athletes, we just did it. We had no blueprint. We didn't say we're going to do this, this, and that. And we just rolled it out and we did it. Obviously, what I'm saying, it was a lot of growing pains, a lot of ups and downs and things that I wish like we would have did differently at the beginning. But the trials and tribulations, the adversity, as we know as basketball players in life, the adversity just taught us to be resilient.
Yes.
So, we kept going at it. Like here we are today. This is our 11th year that we've been in business. But I did it from a point of like just the academics. But when I got through playing basketball, I'm saying, I played for Shaky Rodriguez, like one of the well-known coaches here in South Florida. And when I got back home, I didn't want to do the basketball because, to be a great basketball program, a great basketball coach, you got to put in the hours.
Yeah.
Like players have to put in the hours, running the program, being a coach, you got to put in those hours. And being overseas and being away from home, like I say, like I'm a 9-time European champion, so I'm leaving in August and I'm coming home in June. So like that, I have like 6 weeks maybe as a break. So I wanted to come home and enjoy it, but now I want to get back involved in it in any kind of way. I'm not sure about the coaching, but running a program, developing a program, even developing the kids, training them, some aspect. I think with my experience and my knowledge, I could help in that end.
Amazing.
And so I wasn't, I got all these guys, like you said, NIL deals. A lot of guys start these AU teams for the money of it, the monetary of it, which is great. But I want to do it from a point of like the foundation and the skills to teach the kids the game.
Yeah.
All that other stuff will come on the back end. You understand what I'm saying? So for me, it's more about the teaching, the learning, the fundamentals. Like it's hard for me to watch basketball because I don't know, is I'm an older guy, but it's the way the game was taught to me is totally different.
Yep.
I could be on a 3-on-1 and guy pull up for a 3. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like but that's the way basketball is nowadays. So, you know what I'm saying? But for me, it's just crazy.
Yeah, Brent, also just to make note, so you are fundraising to have a second school. Where do you want the second school to be?
The second school will be a little north in Broward, Miami Lakes area, Fort Lauderdale area. So we just in the midst of doing some fundraising, capital building plans and things like that, that we're looking to raise funds for the school, for the new location.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this then. So, just focusing on your life in general, and I want to go back to it. 2000, you guys go to the national championship. How do you think it would have been different? How do you think it would have been different had Mike Miller not made that shot? How do you think your life would be different? Would it be different at all had Mike Miller not made that shot against Butler? Because you don't go to the finals if you don't get that buzzer beater against Butler in the first round in 2000. I mean, you don't beat Duke, you don't beat North Carolina.
Yeah.
What do you think it was in you guys after he made that shot? I mean, was it just, it's all gravy from here?
It was more so like, and shout out to Mike for making that a credible shot. Like you said, if he don't make that shot, we don't advance, we don't go. But hey, that's why it's called March Madness, right? Anything happens,
Yep.
Anything's possible, and that's what makes the game of college basketball so great, so good. Because in March, you don't know what's going to happen. And I think,
Rob, on that team, Rob, was Mike Miller, Udonis Haslam, Matt Bonner, and Teddy Dupay with him, if you can believe it.
Can I say something? I want to go back because I got disconnected, and Brent was talking about being on a 3-on-1 and someone pulling up for 3. And yes, I agree, brother. Fundamentals, everything you said is why I built Epic Elite, just so you know, including fundamentals. I've always said if one of my kids that comes to my program, so we have 2 scholarships, kids that are going to Ivy League school. One of my kids is from Hudson Catholic in Jersey City, Omari Moore, phenomenal kid. Another kid, Peyton Miller from Jersey City, St. Peter's Prep. And for me, it's about if one of these kids owns a company one day that employs 100 people, they're making the world a better place.
correct.
And that's why I'm in it. But I'm reflecting as you guys are speaking about that run you guys made, and I do recall in Syracuse, Sweet 16, tight game against Duke. Billy Donovan switches from man to zone, and Krzyzewski wasn't ready for it in the last 5 minutes. Am I correct on that?
Yes, you're correct. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think the man press that actually helped us, against Duke and against North Carolina. Michigan State was prepared for that.
Yes.
And you know what I'm saying? And they was prepared for like we had never seen before. But it was a great run, beating Duke and Carolina in the same year. I don't think nobody has ever done that since then. But
no,
we had 5 in, 5 out. We ran and pressed and shot 3. Actually, what basketball is today, that's how we played.
Yeah.
So Coach Donovan was a little bit ahead of his time. You know what I'm saying? We just shot 3s, 4 out, 1 in. So that's the way basketball is right now. 4 out, 1 in. So
let me ask you this though. Hold on, you said something powerful because I remember that Michigan State team was very mature, 3 seniors as I recall. What did they? Because they had 3 weeks or 2 weeks to prepare. What did they do in that game that you guys didn't see or couldn't overcome? What was the thing that stood out the most? I'm curious for my own edification.
What they would do is like I'll be on the ball pressing, and they would have my team cleave sprint straight across in a dead sprint. So the press wasn't effective, because once he got across half court, we got to be in man to man or zone or defense, whatever the case may be. So it wasn't giving us an opportunity to set up our press.
So he never received the ball in the backcourt. He received it at half court and was able.
No, he would receive it on a dead sprint, like across the court.
Like
so
a receiver,
right? He was already in the dead sprint on the run. So
wow.
I'm the one that normally trap and press, so I'm behind the ball right now, so I can't even get into position to trap. So
and they got easy baskets,
right? Well, not easy basket. Where it was more so they was able to get the ball across half court, and we couldn't slow them down, so they was able to get into their offense a little quicker and faster.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm gonna go watch that tape now. I swear to God, I want to see that.
Yeah.
Yep. Brent, let me just ask, and I'm sure Rob will relate this. Let me just confirm, you have 18 other brothers and sisters. Is that correct?
Yeah, I got a big family. And the funny thing about it,
wow.
I'm the oldest. I have a sister. Me and her had the same dad, but my siblings, my mom, my dad, kids, they all the same age, and it's weird. So I had one gathering one night, and I invited everybody, and everybody is similar to ages. So they hang out. I'm the old guy. They don't call me. They all hang out. So it's one big family. It's
That's
one
good.
big family.
What's Thanksgiving like?
So much
Holidays.
food, so much macaroni, collard greens, fried chicken, candy yams, everything you can make.
Amazing.
It's a great time that everybody get together.
Let
Beautiful.
me let me ask for, and I have to ask this. This might be an obvious question, but since you and Udonis Haslam both grew up in Liberty City, did you guys know each other before you played at Miami Senior High together, and then Florida?
So we actually met each other at Florida State camp, teen camp, like when we both was like in I think ninth or eighth grade, and then we met again when we played in this AU tournament, which was back in Jacksonville, and then like a year or two later, he came down to Miami High and he joined us at Miami Senior High School.
Did you have any instrument in him coming to Florida? What is the story there? Or was that
Yeah,
just by coincidence?
yeah, I did. Our coach Anthony Grant, who also was played at Miami High, and then ended up coaching with Billy Donovan. So it was like an easy transition. I had formed a relationship with Coach Grant, and Billy the kid, played for Rick Pitino. So they were trying to build something special at Florida, and I wanted to be a part of it. And then once I committed to Florida, we had a lot of other guys committing to Florida. Myself, Udonis Haslam, Major Parker, Teddy Dupay, Steve Blake. So a lot of guys started to, even though Blake didn't go there because we ended up getting Brett Nelson because they both played the same position.
Brett
So
was good.
Blake
Yeah,
ended up going to Maryland, and it worked out for him. He ended up getting the national championship. So
he
yeah,
did. He did. I
yeah.
recall that. Question: How was it day in day out with Billy the Kid?
It's great. You know what I'm saying? One thing I knew about Coach was, he was prepared every day. He made sure that we was prepared. He's always teaching the game. He was a student of the game. And as I realized, as I became a professional, the difference between the great coaches and the average coaches. You know what I'm saying? You have to put in that work. You know what I'm saying? You have to do that study. You have to put your players in the best position to be successful. You need good players, but you also got to be a good coach too. You know what I'm saying? Talent can only take you so far, and coaching can only take you so far. So it gotta go hand in hand. You need talent to win, and you need a good coach to win. So and I learned so much from coaching, just being prepared, just working on our game. Every day we had individuals. We got up 1,000 shots. We had before classes we would go in there and do individuals. We had practice after school, and every day was a competitive day. Like,
Mm.
you know what I'm saying? If you came and you had a long night where you stayed up all night, and coach would say you're going to get your ass handed to you today. So it was just so competitive. Me, Matt Bonner, Udonis Haslam, Mike Miller, Teddy Dupay, Brett Nelson, Donnell Harvey. So we had some guys that really got after it every day. And one thing that coach really preaches about competing, and we competed every day. We got this thing we had called for conditioners called 20 and 20, 20 suicides in 20 minutes.
Mm.
You couldn't get into practice until you did 2020. And man, when I tell you all summer we dreaded that, like from
Wow.
when school was out until it was time for preseason conditioning, we started sweating. I done seen people start sweating before it because it was one of those things that made us mental tough. Like if you could do 2020, and you was like, when you think about it, it's like, how can I do 20 suicides in 20 minutes? So the centers, the big guys had 35 seconds. The forwards was like 34. Guards was like 33, 32. And the rest of that time you had to rest until the next suicide.
Oh my
So
God.
you really learn the first how you first of all you got to be in some type of shot. You got to hit the first two lines quick. Free throw, half court. You got to hit them two lines quick. And
Yep.
the rest you could jog through. If you don't touch them two lines quick, you ain't gonna make it.
And then you got to cheer each other on. You got to support. You don't want to let the other
Yeah,
guy down. Yeah.
you got to
Let me
feel
ask you
each
this, because this is important to me. Like culture in a team with such high performing, energetic athletes that you got. And there's only one ball and there's only five players, and I know it was five in and five out. But how did coach manage ego expectations, internal strife, jealousy? How did he keep the glue together where it didn't fall apart from within? And he couldn't do it by himself. I'm sure there was assistants,
Right,
but
right. He had a good coaching staff. Right guys know how to push the right buttons. Talk to you. What I'm saying, it was all for the betterment of the team. What I'm saying, there's no I in team. What I'm saying, it's we together, and we kind of learned that, and we brought into the system of doing it. And of course, some guys, probably felt they should have had more shots, or depending on what game it was, some guys
yeah,
should have won more, but we were successful. What I'm saying, we end up going to the Sweet 16 2 years, and we went to the Final Four. But to be able to deal with those egos and things like that, but again, it take a good coaching staff.
yeah.
But then you got to have the players to buy in. So you had guys like, and you might know Coach Maloney. You know Tim Maloney? Coach Tim Maloney. He's a New York guy.
Where is he now, though? Where is he now?
He's down here in South Florida. He's
Okay.
in where's he coaching? He's at Cape Carol. Cape Carol.
Okay.
Yeah, he's down in Florida, but I might mention his name to you. He might know who he is. But yeah, Coach Tim Maloney, Tommy Ostrom, Pelfrey, who played at Kentucky.
Yeah.
Pelfrey was on the staff with us.
Yeah.
Anthony Grant. So we had some coaches on and of course they had to do their job to make sure everybody had the same goal. But we was all brought in, and we just wanted to win, and we just played hard and compete. So Coach did a good job with that.
Amazing. Chris, back to you, brother.
Sure. Brent, just in closing, I guess, kind of tell me what the Leadership Academy is like day to day, and what you guys hope for the future.
So the Leadership Academy is like day to day. We get a lot of kids from the inner city kids, single family moms. So we are their big brother, their big sister, their mom, their dad. What I'm saying? We play many, many roles that we have here. And I actually, I like it, what I'm saying, being able to relate to the kids, get them some positive information, some positive feedback. And one thing that I like the most about it kind of keeps you grounded, because you don't know some of these kids' circumstances, where they come from. And, as a kid, you only know what you know, right? From your environment, and your first role models are your parents and the people that you're around. So we try to be a good model for those kids, and we try to give them good, advice and, courage and confidence to let them know they could be successful and do anything that they possibly want to do.
I think because of where you grew up in the challenging neighborhood of Liberty City, I'd say that challenging is the best way to probably describe it. Like, what I'm saying, you have to go through the adversities to get where you got, and you went to Florida and then went overseas. You're an inspiring story.
Yes.
Yeah, being there, I remember my first time in France, Le Mans. That's my first team, and it was a language barrier. We didn't have Apple, we didn't have iMessage, we didn't have WhatsApp at the time.
No translator.
No translator, no nothing. It was a dictionary that you had to lose translator. So no CNN, ESPN. Now you could watch streaming, Netflix, and none of that. So I came through the dinosaur ages, the ice ages. Like, what I'm saying? You have instant, I want to talk to somebody in Europe or Dubai right now. I could do that just on iMessage or WhatsApp. So it came a long way. It taught me toughness, what I'm saying? Homesick, being able to know how to live in different countries and different cultures. So it exposed me to a lot of different things. And out of that, I became a foodie. I love food. So, being able to live in Italy, Croatia, Russia, and eating Russian potato salad. And I know what authentic Italian food is, lived in Israel, even played in Iran, like now Iran was the most challenging, difficult place I ever played just because of the religion and things like that. But it's an experience that I can share with other people when I have conversations. So the game of basketball has done a lot for me. I done well with the game of basketball. The game don't owe me nothing. Every level of basketball, I won 2 state championships in high school, 2 SEC championships. I was freshman of the year for all freshman team. Sorry about it, all freshman team. Then we went to the Final Four. Then I played overseas, had a nice career in Europe. So the game of basketball for me was great. I have no regrets. So that's why I could have walked away from the game like I did. Because one thing I did, and like everything I do, I was a professional. Like, I did what the coaches told me to do. I got my rest. I took care of my body. I stretched. I did all the things that I needed to do to be successful and that led me to being successful and winning championships.
Rob, final
Amazing.
questions for Brent?
No, I'm just super grateful, Brent. Thank you so much for sharing this time with me. Unbelievable story. I love it. I love what you're doing for the kids right now. I think it's amazing that, digitally speaking, your story is going to be told for years to come. And these kids that you're helping, as you know, they're going to pay it forward as well. And that's just going to have a ripple effect. So thank you for being the inspiration you are. Thank you for sharing your journey. And let me thank you for all the stuff that you're going to do in advance now.
Thank you, Rob. I got to pick your brain about your program, man. Trying to
Yeah.
start
Yeah.
a basketball program here.
I will hook you guys up. That's for sure. It's going to happen. Just give me
Yeah.
5 seconds to close. So for basketball player, the head now of the Be Right Leadership Academy, Brent Wright, and CYInterview sponsor, author of the book Surviving Success, Rob Gill, thank you both for being on CYInterview today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you.